Good evening and welcome to the Radical SR8 Championship. Round 2 takes us to Willow Springs International Raceway. I am Tom Cairns in the commentary position with James Parfitt, who will take us for a ride around this beautiful course, which, to be honest with you, looks more like a water pistol more than anything else, judging by the shape of it. But of course, we are in for some brilliant action during the course of tonight. James was thinking of something else, but of course, I won't say it on the broadcast. Anyway, we are in the final moments of qualifying for the second round of the championship. Now, for those who are wondering about last week, for technical issues, we weren't able to show the first round of Spa, but that will be recorded and then put up on the channel, hopefully later this week. So far in the qualifying session with 4 minutes to go is Luke Maxwell, who is at the top of the timing pages. No pros or AMs determined yet. That comes after this round. This is just to help us who will be in the pros and who will be the AMs on the basis of the pace of which they are doing. We have a strong idea as to who will be in the pros on the basis of how they've done in previous seasons. But of course, we have got some newbies this season, which we don't know for sure which class they will be in just yet. Let's introduce James Parfitt into the booth and get a word with him tonight on how he thinks the drivers will get on around this Willow Springs circuit, which is rather new to me, JP. What do you know about this track?
Well, I know it's very, very fast indeed. Now, the interesting thing about this circuit, I was reading up some of the history beforehand. And Bill Huff, who the Huff family still own it now, took ownership in 1962. Now, he asked Nigel Mansell, because they're very close to a minute times, right? He asked Nigel Mansell, and Nigel basically he was asked, what would it take to break the minute mark? Nigel Mansell's response, in true Nigel Mansell fashion, turned around and went, a gorilla with big balls. That was the answer that Bill Huff got back to the question of what would it take to break the minute mark here at Willow Springs. It's gone through quite a lot at the moment. There's been massive expansions taking place. As I said, it's still family owned now. Is basically the Huff 2 sons and 2 daughters own the track as well. But the interesting thing for me, quite makes me laugh actually, because he was offered by land developers over £100 million and offered $100 million and $50 million each time, that he said no with the reasoning of, what would I do with all that money anyway? That was his reasoning for saying no, for selling the racetrack. So yeah, fair play to Bill Huff. Unfortunately, he did pass away, but he was a ripe old age of 91, I believe he was, when he died. So yeah, it's still owned by the Huff family, but yeah, very, very quick circuit, very, very fast flowing. That's one of the things they've got to pick up on here as well. They've got to make sure that they've got the flow. They've got a continuation of how they're going to be able to do this. I think this is the thing. As soon as you get a little bit out of sorts, I've got a funny feeling you're going to see a lot of people go take little burdens off. I'm trying to find somebody who's actually just starting a lap at the moment. Oh, who is that? Taurus. Oh, well, that's not going to help me. Yeah, unfortunately, he's gone off the side of the circuit. Let's try and see if we can do a lap with Gareth Newton, see if he does the whole lap. Now, they're coming around the final corner, so we'll be able to get the whole lap in from hopefully the beginning. It's not very long, as we say. It's about 1.5 miles, this circuit. So actually, this layout is 2.5 miles, 4.023 kilometres. There's other parts of this that basically take this down to 1.5, 1.8 miles. So you can see here, this is where Gareth Newton's going to head into turn number 1. Castrol corner is the left-hander, and it's not slow. It's not a sudden stop corner, so it's quite flowing again. So they're going to have to make sure they can get that right. Then through the fast right-hander again. Not a slow corner, so again, passing opportunities are going to be very, very limited here. This is going to be one of the main overtaking, the left-hander, before we come into the Budweiser balcony, which is this long right-hander, almost going back on yourself again. And then it's basically a jink where you'll go right, then you'll go left, and then you'll run this straight all the way round. It will basically start now, and it should be on the gas all the way round as we come to the end of qualifying. So there's quite a lot to this. Obviously, we've got 3 heats as per normal, 15 with a reverse 5 and then 20. But yeah, it's going to be a very, very interesting one indeed.
We've got the grid now for the first race of tonight, and it's Matthew Richardson who just snatched pole position right at the end from Jack Veazey, who will line up second. Luke Maxwell, John Hudson on the second row, followed by Mena de Graaf and Mike Bousson. Luke Tunison and Taras Vosberg round out the top 8, followed by Gert-Jan Pullman and Steve Webb. Tom Weston is ahead of Scott Kostrich on row number 6. We've got the Welshman Gareth Newton and Gray Matthews on row 7. The man at the back, that is Stefan Milles. 15 drivers for tonight's running.
Yeah, it should be an exciting one. I don't think, to be honest, at a track this size, they're going to really need any more. You know, you could add 30 or 40 drivers, and you'll just end up with some form of carnage taking place in turn number 1. So I think for a minute, I'm happy with this amount of cars. They should have a good race. They shouldn't have any problems. Luke Maxwell was holding pole position right at the end until Richardson and Veazey jumped him with John McHutchinson in 4th as well. So lots to go happening here. I think this is going to be a very interesting race.
Waiting on Mike Bousson, the only driver to make his way onto the grid, and will be set to go for the first of 3 races. 15 minutes, as James has just mentioned. 20 points on offer for the win, 15 for second, 14 for third, and it's a point difference for every position downwards from there. Race 3 is the other race, which the point system is slightly different, but more on that later. Bousson is on the grid now, and we are good to go for the first of 3 races here at Willow Springs. Can Richardson get off the line brilliantly ahead of Veazey? 1 light is coming on now. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Lights are on. Lights off, it's go. A poor getaway from Matthew Richardson. You can see Jack Veazey reacting so much better off the line. And it looked like Richardson just didn't really get all the grip off pole position. And Veazey's just swooped into the lead. Spinner at the back, that is Gert-Jan Pullman. Unfortunate for him at turn number 1. Luckily for him, there's no barriers really on that far side, so he'll be able to continue. But Veazey leads the way. Luke Maxwell up to second place. John Hudson third. Bousson up 2 positions into 4th. Richardson down to 5th place. Now down to 6th because Mena de Graaf has got by him. And it's Luke Tunison 7th place. Taras Vosberg, Tom Weston and Scott Kostrich in the top 10, James.
Yeah, not a great start from Matty Richardson. He found a whole heap of wheel spin. Did not go anywhere. Luke Tunison in that Williams, I believe that is the old Williams livery that was run by Nigel Mansell. Funny enough, we were talking about him earlier as well. But Richardson trying to get back on now, trying to get his flow back. Starts heading down into the sweeper before they go into turn 9. Takes the inside line over Mena de Graaf. And Richardson should get the job done. But yeah, poor start for Matty Richardson. Pole position, spun up. Gert-Jan Pullman, black flag before he even gone anywhere. Basically, he jumped the start. Not quite sure where Mena de Graaf is going, but the track does not go that way.
No, and the track hasn't changed since 1953. I don't know whether Mena de Graaf is trying to make a design of his own. That's how long it's been since this track has been around. But it has been put on some good racing over the years, I'm sure, in local events. But now this is the Radical SR8 Championship. Their turn to really make some form of entertainment. Gert-Jan Pullman in the pit lane to serve his driver in 4, jump in the start. The top 5 are reversed at the end of, well, for the race 2 grid, but it's the top 5 finishes that determine that. So the man in 5th place, Matthew Richardson, he may want to try and keep hold of 5th place as some recompense to give himself another chance to try and go again from pole.
Yeah, absolutely. He wants to hold on if he can into this 5th spot, but he has got Luke Tunison.
Oh, where is he going?
Oh, that running wide and a nice little bump on a curb. Unfortunately, just as we said, Tunison was doing well. He drops all the way down into 10th place behind Steve Webb at this moment in time. So unfortunately, Tunison is going to have to go again. But the little pack's developing. Mike Bousson almost driving around on his own, 1.2 seconds behind. And he's got a little bit of time to the guys in front. John McHutchinson has got about 4.5 tenths at the moment. But you can see Luke Maxwell having a go at Jack Veazey coming into 1.
On the outside, Mike Bousson with the fast up of the race. Maxwell thought about it with Veazey, but no way through at the moment. Going through Castrol now. This is the rabbit's ear, in case you're wondering why it's called rabbit ears. Well, that's probably because it's shaped like a rabbit's ear, and I would have called it something else, but it is what it is. But Maxwell is on the tail of Veazey as they come out of that and downhill and heading towards Budweiser. And just see Veazey able to hold on. Veazey was phenomenal last season, just missing out on the pro title by 3 points on John Hudson. Hudson winning 6 races on his way to the championship. And we're right on board with Luke Maxwell, another one of the race winners last season. 11 in total. I don't know how many we'll get this time around, but I'm sure that these will put on a good show of racing, no matter how many different race winners we'll get. John Hudson in 3rd place ahead of Mike Bousson. You've got the red line cars nose to tail on the tail of Veazey, so no rush for these just yet. And goes back to what I was saying about how short the track is, 2.5 miles long, and how quick these cars are able just power down. You can see the slipstream effect, James, on this pit straight, and that's because of how quick they go through turn 9, which easily helps Maxwell closing on VZ. He's not close enough this time around, but in future laps, once he's really, really right on the gearbox, VZ is effectively going to be a sitting duck.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and that's the thing at the moment. You know, don't forget the lap record here is a 106, I believe. It's a 106.3. These guys are 109s at the moment. Maxwell just caught a little bit of the gravel there. Through the left-hander he goes, now coming into the right-hander. Maxwell's going to need to tuck in behind VZ, as you say, in through Budweiser balcony, then coming through the right and left, and then right again through Monroe Ridge before they hang on the, I love this name, Wings leg straight. Oh, he's done the same thing.
Yeah.
Done the same thing. Did he manage to hold on? Nope. McHutchinson and Buson goes through. And Richardson wasn't close enough, but yeah, did the same thing as Luke Tunison did Luke Maxwell. And now McHutchinson in third place with Mike Buson tucked up behind him.
Yeah, Buson right on the gearbox. McHutchinson going through turn 9 now. Is Buson within the slipstream to just give McHutchinson a huge run for his money. Rivals for the title a few seasons back. Buson had a troublesome start to last season before coming alive before the end of the season. He's really, really hot up now for season 7. Further back, we see Scott Kostrich, Steve Webb, and Luke Tunison tussling over P7. And going back to you saying about Tunison's livery, he also ran that last season, James.
Yeah, the Labatt's Williams livery. Just like to point out, Webb and Kostrick have swapped 3 places 3 times over that last lap alone. Does look like Kostick dropped a little bit back. Tunison's there now. Menno de Graaf has got Gareth Newton, Stefan Mellish, Graham Matthews and Thomas Weston. Gert-Jan Polman is still out running, so a great job from him, but unfortunately he's down in 15th. But Scotty Kostrick, unfortunately, has got this man tucked in behind him. Mr. Tunison in 9th place, but closing in rapidly. This is one of the closest battles. Oh, Webb's got it wrong.
Yeah,
done the same.
Third driver to do that, at least from what we've seen anyway. That's Steve Webb going across the grass. Well, I say across the grass, it's more like dust, to be honest with you. But there we look at Tunison right on the gearbox of Kostrich now into turn number 9. Is there a way through for him? Too far back to think about it. But he's just remaining patient here, Tunison, after a rocky start to the race. And, well, I think Kostrich may just hold on through Castrol Corner if he can help it. Tunison is thinking about going for a move yet. Is he too far back? Well, he's thinking about it. He's going for it. No, Kostrich has that one covered.
Yeah, he does. Tunison's going to try and pull him back on the inside. He's not going to get him there. He's got to settle in through the rabbit's ear, through the right-hander now, effectively turn number 2. There's not many corners on this track. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that's all they've got here. It's got less corners than the Red Bull Ring, actually. So it's probably going to be one of the shortest circuits. Saying that, no, it's not going to be the shortest circuit. I think we've got Summit Point. Yeah, we have Summit Points on the calendar. That will be probably the shortest circuit for corners. But Tunison and Kostrick having a nice little ding-dong further back. Mike Buson, Maxwell's closing in now. McHutchinson and VZ running side by side through the sweeper and into turn 9.
Yeah, McHutchinson to the outside there. Look, VZ will have the inside line though, but how much drive will McHutchinson get off the corner? Well, he forced VZ to take a tight line and slide as he comes back onto the straight. McHutchinson will have to go to the right-hand side to have any chance of getting through on VZ. Will they leave each other room? This is like Senna and Mansell in Barcelona all those years back. VZ just holds on for now, runs a little bit wide on the exterior Castrol. McHutchinson will be forced to the outside again, and this is why VZ has joined this series, is because he knows he can get his elbows out, particularly when the pressure really, really is getting to him.
Oh, dude, the thing is as well, he's going to have a right little ding-dong now because he's got McHutchinson, Boost, Maxwell and Richardson all closing at him. So at the moment, VZ's got this big old target on the back, being sitting in that front, in that sort of first place, and they're all coming. You know, there's not a massive gap between him and Richardson at the moment. I think it's near on, well, it's not even 2 seconds, it's 1.9, just gone out to 2.1. That's due to the fact that Richardson made an error going in through Monroe Ridge. But you can see now, even Maxwell's closing in and overtaking Mike Buson on the inside through the sweeper and into turn 9. So he's another threat. You know, these drivers we've got in this series, they're no slouches. They're not like they put me in the car and said, drive it. You know, VZ, McHutchinson, Maxwell, Buson, Richardson, Vosberg, Tunison. There are no slouches in this one. It's going to be an interesting fight this season.
And the gearboxes are very fragile as well. You have to light shift up and down at a very, very specific point as well. Otherwise, the gearbox just seizes and just breaks up.
Yeah, that's the thing. you can engine brake with the SR8s, and that's what one of the things made it so popular. You can blip it down and engine brake with it. You know, don't get me wrong, if you go fourth to first, you're going to blow the thing up, right? It's going to go wrong, let's be real. It's going to lock up and spin you around. So, you know, they've got to be a sensible, but the whole strength of field at the moment is 2.7k drivers. You know, you've got 7.5 of VC, 7.1 of McHutchinson, 4.1 of Maxwell, 4.8 of Buson, you know, 5.4 of Vosberg. So it's a big old grid of very talented drivers. And this is the thing, you cannot sit here and go, you're going to win, or you're going to win, or you're going to win, because we have no idea who's going to win. Because on their day, any one of these drivers can take the victory.
Yep. Well, VZ feels he can take victory here to get his season effectively up and running. There is still the first round, of course, I will remind you to come, which will be uploaded later this week, hopefully, so that we'll be up to date completely on where the drivers are as far as standings are concerned. And Hudson is getting on with the job of trying to go through on VZ at turn number 1. Now we look at Maxwell and Buson side by side. Buson coming back at Maxwell after being passed by him over a lap ago. Buson to the inside and sends Maxwell down to 4th.
Yeah, them guys have been having a good old ding-dong as well. That's the 3rd time they've swapped places. Maxwell's going to go again if he can. He can't, in through the left-hand and out. Then coming into the Budweiser balcony. Long, looping right-hander goes almost back on yourself. This circuit does look fun to drive, I've got to be honest. I think this would be amazing in other cars. I think, you know, F4s and stuff like Clios and MX-5s and all of the slower cars would be absolutely incredible. You know, start getting into Super Formula Lights, you're going to be a bit struggling because they are probably going to be a little bit quick. But these guys are putting on an absolute show, as are Steve Webb and Scotty Kostrick. Webb's up behind Kostrick, so he's got through on that one. Does look like Gareth Newton has unfortunately had some drama. Not quite sure what he did there to put him into 14th position. Oh, his back end's coming round. There we go, dear sir. Hit the bump on the inside, too close to the wall.
Yeah. And that's Gareth Newton going for a spin. He's now less than 14 seconds clear over Gert-Jan Pullman, who will try and do his utmost to close in on him as a little consolation. It's effectively a test session, this race, for Gert-Jan Pullman after serving that penalty earlier. VZ has got Hutchinson, Buson and Maxwell. He is the one punching the hole in the air. You can see Richardson just a little further back, staying in touch with these in case anything happens involving them. That could have a say on who will line up on reverse grid pole for race number 2, which will come straight after this one. But for now, VZ is doing his best to just remain in front, as he has been since the beginning.
Yeah, he has, but Richardson's praying that if he does get pole position, he might have the line better this time, second time around than he did the first time. Maxwell all over the back of Buson at this moment in time. Buson's going to have his work cut out. Maxwell's there, literally climbing all over him. Buson's trying to go forward, runs a little bit wide. That's going to give Maxwell the opportunity. He's going to get draft off John McHutchinson in front. McHutchinson also running side by side with VZ here.
Yeah, VZ made the same mistake as what Buson did as well, running wide on the exit of turn 9, and that was all McHutchinson needed to power his way past into the lead. But now VZ can just stay in touch with him for the remaining laps. We've probably got, it's going to be tight. It's definitely at least 3. 3 at the very minimum, but I'm having a guess at 4, James.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very, very tight. They're going to cross over the line with basically bare minimum, I think, to go here. 12 minutes on the clock. They're doing 109s. We've just had, 109.19 best lap time, 109.11 from Luke Maxwell. So he holds the fastest lap of the race, I believe, currently at this moment in time. Yes, he does, 109.107. So it's the timing software. So, yeah, great lap times overall. But you can see now all of these guys are coming forward. Poor old Buson's being dropped off. Richardson's not really hanging on. He probably is by the skin of his absolute teeth at the moment. But, yeah, great battling all the way through. VZ now climbing all over McHutchinson through turn 9.
Dummying and putting him off as best as he can. But Hudson, who knows his way around this circuit quite well, judging by how he's done over the course of practice and qualifying. Well, he knows how well to defend in this situation with John, so he knows the nature of this series and the nature of these cars and the nature of these circuits. VZ thinking about it, but now he's having to switch his attention to Maxwell to the outside at Rabbit's ear. Maxwell may slingshot his way round the outside. Is he going to be able to pull this one off? By the time they get round towards Budweiser, no, he had to back out of it. He had to back out of it there, Maxwell, otherwise he'd have been going off the circuit.
The interesting thing is VZ, Maxwell and Buson all went off. And that's the problem. They all ran wide. So unfortunately they all kind of followed each other there. VC's now climbing in, trying to get close to McHutchison. This is going to be very, very close here. I think we're going to have maybe one more lap at this moment in time. 13, yeah, it's going to be possibly
Yeah, it'll be one more, James.
One more here for VZ and McHutchison, and we've got the likes of Webb and Kostrick. They're still battling out as well. They're fighting. They're going to only have one more lap to go, but it's going to come from here. The question is, in which order?
Well, we'll see. And we'll see the marshal waving the white flag as they go over the line. The line is actually quite far down the straight, actually. So they're crossing over the line with less than a minute to go. And we didn't really see the white flag, judging by that angle, but we know it's the last lap anyway. But there is McHutchison in the lead now. VZ ahead of Maxwell, ahead of Richardson, ahead of Buson. So Buson's actually dropped back behind Richardson on this last lap.
Yeah, he has, but I don't know whether that's Mike taking pole position. I don't know if he's that clever to do that, to be honest with you. I'm not really
Well, we
sure.
saw it from Richardson at the start, didn't he? Because he didn't get all the grip he wanted off the line. To be fair, I think starting on the left-hand side of the grid, which would be the even number side, that might be the better place to be at. So it could be the cleaner line. We'll come to that in a moment because John McHutchison is close to wrapping up victory. Ahead of VZ, ahead of Maxwell, ahead of Richardson, ahead of Buson, and it's Taras Vosberg in 6th place, over 5 seconds off this bunch. VZ not giving up by any means. Is he going to make one last dive at turn number 9 before the drag race to the line? We'll see VZ having to be boxed behind McHutchison because he's got Maxwell to his left-hand side. Maxwell backs out of it. VZ might be able to get a run on McHutchison, and Richardson goes off the circuit. Is this going to be McHutchison or VZ taking the win? It's so close, but John McHutchison has taken it by 0.03 of a second ahead of Jack VZ. Luke Maxwell in 3rd place and a Mike Buson. Matthew Richardson down to 5th place, but will be on reverse grid pole for race number 2. Taras Vosberg 6th, Luke Tunison 7th, Menno de Graaf 8th, and we've got Scott Kostrich holding off Steve Webb for 9th position. Webb is 10th, and we've got Graham Matthews, Stefan Millis, Tom Weston, Gareth Newton, and Gert-Jan Polman. The rest of those to finish.
Wow, that was an exciting ending to race number 1, wasn't it? Blimey.
Did you see Richardson go wide as well?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure it wasn't deliberate. I don't think it was deliberate, but in a way that's it's helped him get reverse grid pole.
Yeah, I think if anybody tries to do something like this on the final corner of the line, final lap, I'd be very impressed. Oh, he hit the curb. Oh, he hit the curb. Hold on, I'm just trying to get this into... He hit the curb on the inside of the final corner.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. At the end of all that, let's have a look at the race 1 result. Oh, they've got to go straight to the race.
No, hold on. Yep, sorry, my bad. Wrong one. There you go.
Yep. The race 1 result sees John McHutchison take victory ahead of Jack VZ, Luke Maxwell 3rd, ahead of Mike Buson and Matthew Richardson. Then we've got Taras Vosberg and Luke Tunison next, followed by Menno de Graaf and Scott Kostrich, Steve Webb, Graham Matthews, Stefan Millis, Tom Weston, Gareth Newton and Gert-Jan Polman are the rest of those to finish. Quickly run down on the race 2 grid with Matthew Richardson on pole, ahead of Mike Buson, Luke Maxwell 3rd, ahead of Jack VZ, and it's John McHutchison in 5th place, Taras Vosberg, Luke Tunison, Menno de Graaf, Scott Kostrich and Steve Webb running at the top 10. Then we've got Graham Matthews and Stefan Millis on row 6, followed by Tom Weston and Gareth Newton on the 7th row. At the back is Gert-Jan Polman.
Yep. Well done. Very speed ready there, Tom. I'm well impressed.
Well, the drivers are now on the grid, and it's take 2 here at Willow Springs. Will Matthew Richardson rebound from his race 1 error? Let's see. No, he does not. Second time around, he doesn't get the grip he needs. And he's been jumped by Mike Buson this time. And Luke Maxwell has swooped into 2nd place. VZ determined to get up the inside by the time Rabbit's ear comes around. And so, once again, Matthew Richardson not getting off the line at all well from pole position, James.
I don't know what it is. He just can't get the car off, can he? He's all the way down in 4th again. He's like, Buson's got him, Maxwell's got him, VZ's got him. He's lucky John McHutchison didn't get him, really. Taras Vosberg in behind that with Luke Tunison as well. But the only gainers is with the front 3 who have gained the time at the moment. And that's the thing, they're the only ones that came. See, look at Richardson down 3. Gert-Jan Polman up 1 as well. Millis up 1. He's battling side by side. Yay. With Tom Weston and Polman and Newton. So they're having a proper old fight down the bottom. But at the moment, Buson leads the way.
Absolutely brilliant start from Buson this time ahead of Maxwell and VZ, but we expect this kind of battle all the way through, just as we saw from race number 1. Oh, off goes Maxwell at turn 9. He's lost out big time and he's going to fall to the back of the field. Disaster there for Luke Maxwell.
Maxwell down in 13th for the moment. I thought, oh, something else went off behind him.
Tom Weston's off as well at the last corner.
Yeah, I don't think that was a ploy to get reverse grip pole for race number 2. I don't know if Luke's that clever.
Did he catch the curb or did he just go too deep?
No,
yeah, he just went too deep. Yeah, he took too tight of a line into the last corner and it just backfired him.
Yeah, he just couldn't do nothing with it. That's the thing. It's like almost at Fruxton when you run too deep round, too long round Goodwood, you're just off and the grass just, unfortunately, your projection and the grass just keeps hold of you. Richardson's now got himself, well, not got himself down, yeah, got himself back into third after Maxwell taking the diverse off the side of the circuit. He's chasing down Veazey and also Buson. Vosberg right in the back of McHutchinson currently at the moment. And you've got Graham Matthews in the back behind. He's got Pullman, Mellis, Newton and Maxwell all tucked in behind him. So yeah, poor old Graham Matthews is going to be under some pressure shortly.
Yeah, well, Pullman is on the sales. He's made a good start to this race actually. Pullman, after starting in last position, has made his way up into 11th position. He has got Graham Matthews ahead of him. Could be the battle for reverse grid pole, but judging by the fact that Luke Maxwell's down the order in there as well, I would expect him to make his way through past these. Not disrespecting any of these, because I expect the likes of Graham Matthews, Stephen Millis and Gareth Newton to be in the arms. There goes Pullman on the inside of Graham Matthews, who left room. Then you can see Stephen Millis fancying a go. The door was open, but there wasn't enough, and Maxwell was able to just, well, take his opportunity as of when he can take it, and he's gone by Millis at Rabbits here.
Yeah, he has at the moment, but we've got Vosberg, Junison, Menno de Graaf. They've been battling away. Graham Matthews, unfortunately, has gone off the side of the circuit, but Vosberg tucked in behind McHutchinson. McHutchinson kind of bringing these guys with him on the run to Richardson. They're only a second, yeah, barely a second away from Richardson there in that Orange Army racing machine. So great little fights taking place here all the way through the field. There is literally hardly any room between drivers at this moment in time. Tunison and Vosberg, they're next on the battle list.
And Tunison now in 5th position. I will say to you all that the top 10 finishes at the race at the end of this one will determine the race 3 grid. So right now it would be Gert-Jan Pullman on reverse grid pole, but Luke Maxwell's just coming up behind him now, and it's a matter of time. Oh, is that Maxwell's just gone wide in the background there? I think it might well have been. But either way, that is Tunison and Vosberg fighting it out. Back to Steve Webb here, who's got Scott Kostrich on his tail. Fast up of the race from John Hutchinson that time around, as we are now on lap number 4 out of what is expected
12.
to be. I thought it was 13, at least.
Close. A bit one at the other.
Okay. Well, Veazey's in 2nd place anyhow, ahead of Richardson, who is beginning to make up for lost time and lost ground after that poor start of which he had. He went down to 4th position, now back up into 3rd place. And he's got Veazey right in front of him. How is Richardson going to play this one?
Dude, do you know what? It's like asking what the lottery numbers are. I have
That's
no
quite
idea.
true, actually.
I have no idea how he's going to play it. He's either got to sit there and use the draft and come out of turn 9 like an absolute banshee, clear Veazey, clear Buson. Unfortunately, that's slightly a wider line unless he can get a massive slingshot. Oh, my!
Oh, Buson's off! Oh, that was so close. He spun Maris Buson. Luckily, just avoids the back. Oh, dearie, dearie me. That's the most spectacular spin we've had in the race so far, or at least in the evening here at Willow Springs. But that has allowed Veazey to move into the lead now.
Well, that's going to answer how much Richardson's going to get Buson, right? You know what I mean? That literally has answered it, unfortunately. And Mike took a big old diver off through the final corner. Oh, hold on. No, that's not the one I want. I want this one. So, unfortunately for him. Curb.
Yeah.
Curb again.
It's not been their best friend tonight, has it?
Oh, definitely that not final corner one. And the thing is as well, what is the interesting thing about these curbs is they're controlling where the car goes after. It's not the car that's controlling what happens when they come off the curbs. The curbs are that high, they're bouncing the car into a different direction. And that's the thing, we've seen it so many times in that run through Budweiser Balcony and Monroe Lodge, or Ridge I think it was, that they've just hit the curb and going all the way off, and they've got to try and stay off these curbs, they're bonkers.
Yep, Steve Webb is the latest to have gone for a spin. That's such a shame because he was running in P7 before that spin. He's now down to plumb last behind Tom Weston. We're going to see why. Oh, he got tapped by Luke Maxwell, James.
Luke.
Not sure about that one. I don't think that was on in my point of view.
No, I think that may have been a little bit of a push to pass from Mr. Maxwell there. Never a dirty driver, mind you, I'd like to point out as well. I've known Luke for ages now and never seen him once be dirty, so unless that was just a misjudgment of speed. Mike Bousson here with Pullman. Bousson's got the inside line. He should be able to make this work. He does for Mike Bousson. Up now into 9th, down 7. BC currently Richardson and McHutchinson tucked in your 1, 2, 3. But Tunison's got Menno de Graaf for company, and Scotty Kostrick has now got Luke Maxwell.
Yep. When you see Mike Bousson go through the picture, it almost looks like a different livery when you see the reflection from the sunshine. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, it goes kind of...
yellowish, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And do you know the thing is as well? I have no idea why. I think it's just the sun reflecting off it. Because I can't find it in a setting in iRacing. So if anybody knows where that setting is to stop that happening, that would be amazing. But Maxwell, you can see it there. Look, it's just looks pure white at the moment. Maxwell having to go over Kostrick in front of these guys. Maxwell should sweep round the outside. Does he get this job done? He does. And Bousson should follow him through as well over Scotty Kostrick.
Yeah, Kostrick's down 2 positions at the expense of Maxwell and Bousson, but I think they were given ones, to be honest with you, because Maxwell and Bousson are in a race of their own compared to Scott. Not to take anything away from Scott, I think he's a good driver. But these two have been around for as long as I can remember. These are like 2 of the talisman, if you like.
Yeah, there's a practically a group that I've been with for years. Mike, Luke, John, they've been the 3 main ones. And Stefan Mellis has been in the SR8s and SR10s. I've known Stefan for ages as well. So they're the regular ones that you can see in this class of racing. Jack Veazey, Matthew Richardson, first time I've seen them this season, or second season, so fair play to them for having to go. But John, Luke and Mike, kind of the main people. Oh, Simon Edwards, if you include Simon from another series that we're in as well, and a couple of others. Jamie Bird is there. So, yeah, there's been quite a few I've seen in the SR8s.
We'll see some of those back another round. We know Jamie Bird from his days. He took victory in the last round of the previous season at Monza. So he knows how to win races as well, does Jamie. And Veazey, meanwhile, is doing his utmost to go one higher than where he ended up last season in terms of the championship position. And he's doing a great job holding Matthew Richardson up. John Hudson isn't too far back. He's waiting for errors from these 2.
Yeah, he's either that or he's just struggling to get close. Maybe the dirty air's playing an effect at this fast circuit. You know, so there's plenty of things that could be playing a factor to why McHutchinson can't get close to these guys at the moment. Menno de Graaf is closed in on Mr. Luke Tunison, but you can see Richardson and Veazey have closed the gap practically down to less than half a second, if that, at the moment. And unfortunately for Richardson, again, too close, that wide line playing, not doing him any favours.
Yeah, and I think with him getting off the throttle slightly has allowed Hudson to close in on the gearbox of Richardson. But I suppose the consolation for Richardson is that he got a little draft off Veazey down the pit straight, which is the backbone to keeping him ahead of Hudson into the corner. But will he be ahead of Hudson by the time he come out of Rabbits here? It's unlikely. Hudson through on the inside, and that's second place going to the Scotsman.
Yeah, great job from him. You see Richardson's trying to push him back here. Richardson's going to have the inside line for the left hand. No, he's not. Oh, yes, he is. He kept his foot in, kept the speed up. No, he's not. Hutchinson leaves in space. Still can't get the position away through the right hand of Budweiser balcony now. And then, unfortunately for Richardson, he's down in 3rd place. So, unfortunately for him, drops down. Torres Frostberg has got a queue of cars coming out in as well. Menno de Graaf and Luke Tunison are both chasing him at the moment.
Yeah, Menno de Graaf chasing Luke Tunison for position. This has been impressive for Menno de Graaf, the reigning AMS champion, keeping himself up with some of last season's pro drivers. I'll be interested to see how he, whether he ends up in a pro or an AM. I think judging by the numbers they've registered for this season, it wouldn't surprise me if he ends up in the AMs again, just so that we've got a fair number of drivers competing in the AM class. But Menno de Graaf has shown that he can actually keep up with these and be the dark horse, if you like.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be interested to see how they're going to weigh this one out. I'm glad that's a John job and not a JP job. Mike!
What are you doing, Mike?
Where are you
He
going?
was never going to make it, was he? He was trying to do exactly what Hudson did to Richardson. It just went too far out wide.
Yeah, he just caught he hit the gravel. Watch, he hits the gravel just about there, and he can't get no stopping, no rotation. And
He got too greedy.
Yeah.
He got too greedy on the amount of grip he was wanting, and that's just backfired, unfortunately, for Mike Bousson. Down to Last position behind Steve Webb. What a shame.
Yeah, plumb last for Busan now, unfortunately for him. So there we go.
Have you noticed something on the last lap as well, James? Miller de Graaf, from what I've spoken about, just set the fastest lap of the race so far.
Yeah. Yes, 109.32. So fair play to Menno. How long can he hold it for? That's going to be the question. He's got Tunison's draft in front of him, of course, which has also assisted him. But fair play to Menno on that one. I personally think he should be a pro, but again, it depends on how the situation breaks down with all of his drivers. Last thing you want to do is put Menno in arms and he just literally runs away with it. It's like he just swipes everybody. You're like, oh, what's the point? So it'd be interesting to see how he gets on, Menno, for obviously the what's the word I would do? Replacements of Pro and Am.
Yeah. I mean, you would say that VZ, Hutchinson, Richardson, Vosberg, Tunison was in the pros last season. Maxwell, Buson were in pros. So I suppose it depends on how many people actually, not necessarily turn up to the races. It's more about how many have signed up to do this. So we'll see how it all plays out afterwards once both rounds have basically been shown, so that whoever is dealing with whoever has been put into the pros and in the AMs will find out soon enough for when we go racing next week.
Yeah, they've had 19 sign up, so technically you could have a 10-9 split, but the hardest thing is obviously keeping everybody on the racetrack at the same time, right? Let's be real about it. Unfortunately, real life does get involved, and it's not always the most easiest thing to try and get everybody on the track at the same time. So yeah, it's going to be tough for John, but that's why it's a John job and not a JP job.
John Hudson now has the fastest up of the race at the end of lap number 11, running in second place, chasing after VZ for yet another win. And it will be roles reversed as it stands for what we saw in race number 1. VZ taking victory ahead of Hudson, and Richardson keeping up in third place, having a better time of it. And then you've got Taras Vosberg in fourth place, another second adrift of the Englishman. And Tunison running in fifth place, and Mena de Graaf doing a superlative job in sixth position. He's 6 seconds clear over Luke Maxwell, and with only 2 laps left of this one, I think de Graaf has got sixth place Sona, which will put him in fifth spot on the grid for the third and final race of the evening. The driver on reverse grid pole as it stands will be Stefan Mellis. It looks like Gareth Newton's gone down the order, and he's the latest to have a moment, James.
Yeah, he has at the moment. Final lap, mind you. Final lap of the race, this one will be. As VZ and McHutchison go again, Menno is tucked in behind Tunison. So they've got one more lap as well. So it's going to be a couple of run down to the line. Menno pulls out to the left-hand side. Tunison on the insides. And Menno does not make it through. But what's McHutchison and VZ going to do on the final lap?
We shall see. Hudson hasn't got a lot of time left, and there's not a lot of corners to make his move, but he'll be thinking more about the championship at this point in the long run. It is a 10-round season with a couple of drop scores to factor in. And VZ will know all too well. He knows that every point will count towards the championship. And Hudson, well, he'll do his best to retain it this time around. Unlike when he won it in season 4, he had pretty much an off-season in season 5, to be honest with you, when he got caught up in so many incidents which curtailed any chance of him retaining it. And of course, he got it back in season 6. Now can he make it 3 championships in 4? We will soon find out soon enough in a couple of months' time. But VZ's holding on here. Adam Hudson, who thought about going for a move. It's going to come down to a drag race, but I think VZ, by pulling out that margin, is going to do enough. VZ takes the second race win of the evening at Willow Springs ahead of John Hutchison. And then it's Matthew Richardson who completes the podium in third place, followed by Taras Vosberg. And Luke Chinson's been passed on the line by Mena de Graaf. Well, it says 0.000. It must have come down to like the nearest 10,000th of a second.
Yeah, here's their run down to the line. You can see Menno runs wide, brings it in shallow. He's going to get a bit of a better run. There he goes, pulls out. There's Tunison on the inside. Menno's going to pick him at the line. Oh, that could not have been a lot at all. Hold on, that must have been minor there as well.
You could have got a string and it wouldn't have even fit in that gap.
No, it would have been very...
Tunison got really poor drive off the corner.
This swapping over is driving me bonkers.
Well, maybe iRacing can do something about that so we can actually look back on things like that, especially when we've got a warm-up session of 5 minutes where the drivers have a chance to grab a drink, nip to the loo, or do whatever they need to do, or perhaps get some mileage in, which I think some drivers may decide to take the opportunity to do so.
That, Tom, talking about that, is a perfect opportunity for us to get a drink. I've run out, so I'm going to go and grab one now, and I will be back shortly. So join us in a couple of minutes.
Welcome back here to Willow Springs, and we are in this warm-up session, which will be about a couple of minutes longer now, before we go for one final time. 20 minutes it will be, with more points on offer compared to what we saw in the first two races. John Hudson taking race number 1. Jack Veazey was able to come away with the victory in race number 2. There are cars on circuit just getting a little bit more practice in before the final race of tonight. It looks like Tom Weston, Gert-Jan Polman and Menno de Graaf are taking the opportunities to do that. But here is the race 2 result, which we didn't quite go through before we went for a break. But that is Jack Veazey who took victory ahead of John Hudson. It's Matthew Richardson in 3rd place, Terence Vosberg 4th, ahead of Menno de Graaf, Luke Tuninson 6th, Luke Maxwell in 7th place, followed by Gert-Jan Polman, Scott Kostrich, and Stefan Melis in 10th position, which will also give him reverse grid pole for the 3rd and final race this evening. Tom Weston and Gray Matthews 11th and 12th, followed by Steve Webb, Gareth Newton, and Mike Bousson at the back in 15th. He's got it with it all to do if he's to come away with a good haul of points.
Yeah, I'm just trying to sort out that the position colour gone. I'm very interested. Ah, there we go. If by magic. Right. Couple of minutes to go. Couple of seconds to go. Not long left of this warm-up session, and then we get the race 3 up and running. 20 minutes reverse top 10. Oh, spicy.
Yeah, I've just noticed, like, in the background around the circuit, there's like those green towers or pipes. When you think of those green pipes, I'm sure you can imagine what I'm thinking of.
Green towers.
Or green pipes, whatever you want to call them.
Wouldn't matter next time I come across them.
Oh, there you go. I think there's one on the right-hand side there. Obviously, if you take out the sign that says fire station or whatever it says there, it just makes me think of green pipes from Super Mario.
Oh, I wonder if there's mushrooms underneath.
Oh, it could well be.
Could well be. And a little bit of music. Listen, I've just had a message come through as well, and it said fuel is going to be very tight for race number 2.
For race number 3, you mean?
Race number 3, yes. Sorry. There we go.
Well, the time had been a little bit tight in the first 2, but with there being another 5 minutes for race number 3, we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully, we won't get into a situation of what we had at Alton Park at the beginning of last season, where the likes of Matthew Richardson and a couple of others who are running in the top 4, nose to tail, ran out of fuel, and John Hudson took the win on the road, but of course the result was later revised. Stefan Mills on reverse grid pole for race number 3. Scott Kostrich on the front row next to him, Gert-Jan Polman and Luke Maxwell on row 2. Then it's Luke Tunison and Menno de Golf on the 3rd row. Taras Vosberg and Matthew Richardson on row 4, followed by John Hudson and Jack Veazey. Tom Weston and Gray Matthews on row number 6. Then we've got Steve Webb and Gareth Newton. Mike Bousson, we've got all to do from 15th and last.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, propping up the rear end is Mr. Bousson. So let's see how he gets on here. And what is Stefan Mellis going to do? Is he going to get this off the line? That's going to be even more interesting.
Well, pole position hasn't been the favoured spot for the start of these races, judging by how Matthew Richardson had got on. But let's see. 1 light on, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Lights are on. Lights off, it's go. And Mellis was slow there. And that hands the lead to Scott Kostrich. And Luke Maxwell has leapt up into 2nd position. But he's got Gert-Jan Polman to his right-hand side. We saw John Hudson go wide a little bit, I think, entering the Castrol corner. But it's Gert-Jan Polman who has swooped into the lead now, ahead of Kostrich and Maxwell through Rabbits here. And you can see Luke Tunison in that Williams retro livery on the inside, but then it'll be Maxwell for the inside line heading towards the Budweiser balcony. And who's going to break later between the two? Well, it looks like Tunison has the high ground for the right-hander next. He got on the curb, did Tunison, forcing Maxwell to go a little bit wide so they don't come together. And they're still side by side down the hill. And this is a terrific start. It doesn't look like anyone, James, had gone round this time.
No, everybody, obviously the coaches has been on the circuit and came back on not long after. Maxwell and Tunison running side by side. Scotty Kostrich in 2nd. This is doing Gert-Jan Polman a world of good, because while they're fighting, he's on his bike and pulling away as Luke Maxwell and Tunison side by side around the final corner here as well. Round turn 9. Oh, Tunison's gone.
And that's Richardson.
Big.
Yeah, he ran into Vosberg. He ran into Vosberg, did Matthew Richardson at the last corner.
Oh, ooh, Menno went off as well, apparently.
Yeah, he did.
Look. Oh, it's the one behind I want. It's the one behind. Ooh, come on, I'm going to do it this way. Apologies, but it seems to be the easiest way of getting this. Oh, he did run into it.
Yeah, he did. I feel sorry for Taras Vosberg.
Yeah, and Menno de Graaf, they both went off. Unfortunately for them, lucky enough, somehow there is no beating flags, which I'm not impressed about. Steve Webb is mixing it up with Graham Matthews and Gareth Newton further back. This is 9th, 10th, and 11th. Bousson and okay, Bousson and Kostrich, I thought were having a battle, but now I can see a reason why.
And Kostrich goes off the circuit, staying out of everyone's way. I don't think he was close to anyone actually. No, he got a kick of oversteer and he just ran out of track.
Unfortunately for him, hard luck on the brakes and that big puffs of smoke coming out there. Bousson has now got Weston tucked up behind. And it looks like Gert-Jan Polman has got Luke Maxwell closing in. That's not what behind you.
And Maxwell the fastest up of the race, looking to make up after his error in race number 2. And I suppose that's the benefit of the way when you're starting that far down, or finishing that far down, which will give you a better grid position for the 3rd and final race. This is down to the racecraft. That's the reason why we've got these reverse grid races. But Maxwell getting on with it here with Gert-Jan Polman, who, if you remember, he was down at the back in race number 1 after he had to serve a penalty for jumping the start. Now he's got a chance to lead at the front.
Yeah, he might be able to get the win here if he can keep this car on the racetrack, but he has got some very, very tough opposition in behind him in Luke Maxwell. So, yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to see how long Polman can hold on. Oh, well, that one.
Yeah. Well, Maxwell's heading through now. Polman doesn't fight this one. I think he knows that Maxwell's in a race of his own. But if he could just stay within the draft of Maxwell, that'll help him stay ahead of John Hudson for now, at least. I've noticed as well, James, that the duration of the race is now decreased from what was 20 minutes to 18. Probably to help combat the amount of fuel they were able to come into it.
I must have missed that change. I don't think John told us. Okay. Well, there you go. Oh boy, it's an 18-minute race, but there we go. Goes up. but it is an 18-minute race, so fair play. Not much longer than a 50. We should be all right here as well. But Gareth Newton and Graham Matthew are having their own little bit of a ding dong down in 9th and 10th place.
Tom Weston third up ahead. He's having a better race of it actually so far. Is Tom Weston running in P7. Stefan Mellis, despite that dreadful start he had off the line, clearly pole position has not been the favourable position to start a race in around Willow Springs. That might be something for future reference for when the drivers do race here in the Radical SR8 series.
Yeah, that's very weird though, because the right-hand side effectively should be the clean part of the circuit. As Newton and Matthew running side by side. Newton's going to have to tuck in behind him, and Matthew's going to have to go again. See, yeah, because the pole's on the right, so this side. So effectively, where all the drivers are going, it should be nice and clean, but just can't get off the line. As Newton now going to go and send it up the inside of Matthews. 109 there for Luke Maxwell, fastest lap of the race. Newton goes through. Great overtake, by the way.
Yeah, it was a beautiful overtake there from Gareth Newton, up to 9th position. And Scott Kostrich has come into the pit lane. It looks like he had stopped on the racetrack and he's gone no further. That's such a shame for Scott, because he was looking on course for another decent result. What was he managed to do here? Did he just... Oh, he's gone off big time there. Oh, he's gone over the barrier, look. Well, I'll say barrier.
Up the grass verge almost.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Scotty. Chimison's now recovering. He's up the back end of Graham Matthew. So we'll see how far Luke can go here, whether or not he's going to be able to get into that top. Should be able to get into the top 10. It's whether or not how much further up he can get from there.
Well, he'll get by Matthews. There's no question about that from Luke Chimison. Up the inside, heading towards the last corner of the circuit. And it's neatly done by the Dutchman, who goes on by. The next driver he'll be chasing is the Welshman Gareth Newton, who's another 3 seconds off Steve Webb, who's in a fight of his own with Tom Weston and Stefan Mellis. New fast up of the race from Jack Beasley in 4th.
Yeah, great job from all of these guys. Beasley on a 109.593. Starting putting himself. Chimison's obviously past Matthews. He's now going to go after Newton. And then we've got Weston, Mellis, and Bousson. There are another 3 that are close together. And in behind that is Steve Webb chasing down Thomas Weston. So, yeah, but I think Chimison should get Newton fairly quickly.
Yeah, Chimison heading on by Newton towards the Budweiser balcony, but you see Newton fighting back, getting his elbows out, and who can blame him? They are coming back down the hill eventually, and Gareth will keep hold of the position for now, but I think Chimison will be within range to attack him, just as he did with Matthews a lap ago. He's up to the outside. Now it's Chimison. Oh, he thought about it. Is he going to have all the drive towards the last couple of corners here before he heads on through? Matthews is in there as well, but he's boxed in. So it doesn't look like he's going to be able to make a move at the moment. You can see how much of a tight line Newton's going to take at the last corner. You can see he's getting it all wrong there was Matthews, so he's off the circuit. But there we see Mena de Garf is also in the mix without the fact that he's got no bonnet on his machine.
Yeah, just literally getting airflow onto his feet, keeping his feet warm. Chimison's going to send it around the outside. There, gets the job done over Newton. What about Menno? How's Menno going to get on here? He's going to have to tuck in right behind him, just hope he can get through. But look at these 3. Now McCutcheon, Coleman, and who is in that behind that? Jack Veazey. So very interesting battle materialising out the front. Weston, Webb, and Mellis are another battle. Chimison, Newton, Graf, Vosberg also in there. So a couple of fights here to try and keep an eye on.
Yeah, now we look at Jack Veazey in 4th place. How long will it be before Pullman is displaced here? Well, Veazey's alongside here. He's within range. He's going to go to the inside now, is Veazey. And Pullman is down to 4th position after leading for a few laps. But now he's just going to have to try and do what he can and keep Mike Bousson back, who's another 2.5 seconds adrift. And, well, Bousson going wide like that may see that gap increase.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit longer. Bouson's going to have to try and close up again. Look at these 3, Menno, Newton and Vosberg. Wow. They're literally in there. Vosberg's made his way up. He's passed Menno. He passed Newton. Or nearly passed. Yes, he's going to... Oh, Taurus. Blimey. Talk about leaving him without a nose.
Well, he had the bit between his teeth, didn't he? Keeping all of the place there at Castrol Corner. But he is still in 10th position, ahead of Newton and de Graaf, who is doing his best to stay in this one. 2.1 seconds at the front now between Maxwell and Hutchison. Will we see a nail-biting finale to this third and final race here at Willow Springs?
Well, they've been nail-biting in the first two, so I would not be surprised. But Weston has got Webb tucked in right behind him. Mellis is not far in behind that as well. As we're breaking in, just broken the halfway point. Man, trying to lead around here gets the heart going, says Union Jack. So there we go, in YouTube chat. I think that is Jack Beasley actually.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I do recall that username actually in the live chat in the past. Tom Weston in 6th place ahead of Webb and Mellis, who's now down to 8th position. Mellis was running in 6th not too long ago, but he's now down to 8th position. This race just hasn't exactly gone in the way of Mellis so far, but he'll have to try and just do what he can with what he's got and to stay in front of the rest behind. Now, of course, a lot of them, which would be in the pros if the class positions were given in the same way as last season. There are some brilliant battles on the circuit. Richardson is on the tail of Matthews now for 13th position. He'll be hoping to get by him in the next lap.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's just one of these fights that I think could go on for a kind of a while at the moment. You know, Richardson still in behind Matthews. He's got about 3 attempts to go. He's got to try and close up. If Richardson can... Oh, dude. And not do that.
Yeah. It's not the first mistake he's made of that kind of... what's the word I'm after?
Punt to pass.
Yeah.
Literally.
He goes by him now, but that was... it's just not been his evening at all, Matthew Richardson, I have to say. He came from so far back as well and just too desperate.
I think he carried too much responsibility. He just carried a lot more speed.
Yeah, he was too desperate. You know, to get through. It was too far back and he was never going to make the move stick at all.
Yeah, he just carried far too much speed. Well, more speed than the guy in front. Wasn't expecting Matthews to, almost no offence here, Graham, to be so slow, and he just ran into the back of him. So, yeah, unfortunately that was kind of it at the moment. That's the situation.
Luke Chinson set the new fast up of the race on the previous tour, and his pursuit of drivers which should be in the AMs from the next round onwards. Luke Chinson is hoping he'll remain in the pros. I think, going by hypothesis, well, I will hypothesise that he'll get by Mellis, Webb and Weston before this race is over.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you aren't going to be too far from it there. But let's see how he goes. I think Tunison should be a pro anyway. I wouldn't be surprised if he isn't. I think the I-rating cut is probably going to be around about the 2K, give or take. Because we've got a couple of people, Mellis in behind that. We've got Graham Newton, Graham Matthews, Scotty Kostrick. So yeah, maybe 2.1, probably Weston and Webb might drop down into AMS, but yeah, it should be a great fight here. As you can see, these two side by side into one.
Yeah, that's Webb going around the outside of Weston into Castrol Corner. The move neatly done before the corner, and Tunison posting another new fast of the race whilst being stuck behind Mellis in the draft on the pit straight. So this is beginning to be a more encouraging one for Luke Tunison after having to go off the circuit in response to when Richardson and Vosberg came together. There may be some words afterwards between the pair of them, but we'll see how Tunison responds here. I suppose it's not about the situation you are in, it's about how you respond to it, and Tunison is responding to the challenge rather well as he looks to go by Mellis, who got offline really coming down the corner as they head in towards Monroe Ridge. But he should be on the outside here, Tunison to go on by. He is, so will he have all the momentum before turn 9? Yeah, he's through. No problem there for Tunison. Good move.
Yeah, absolutely. Set after Tom Weston now. It's all died down a little bit up front. Maxwell driving around on his own. McCutcheon 2.6. Beasley just in behind that. Jan Polman just staying in contact. But the sort of the meat almost of this race is down here with Webb, Weston and Tunison as they're continuing their fight for that middle part of 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th. And Vosberg's on his way up as well.
Yeah, Vosberg is also a man on the move. He's gone about a couple of seconds faster than Mellis on the previous tour. So he won't be too long before he gets into the gearbox of that predominantly turquoise livery which Stefan Mellis has run in the SR8. Not just in this particular series, but in another series which we've done commentary for. So we'll hope to see Mellis come back fighting next week, I think, also at Brands Hatch, which is more familiar territory for these. I'd probably say Brands Hatch will be it'll be a closer affair, I think, in terms of positions compared to what we've seen here.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things, isn't it? You know, this track is not a lot of people have had practice on this circuit. I think I saw a couple of people who've just bought it as well. I'm yet to practice but all I know is Willow Springs is all about flow, says Jack Beasley. Scotty Kostrick not going to make it, might be back in time. Then he messages saying, I made it back and practiced. So there we go. So I don't think people have had loads of practice. There's Tudorson is closing all over the back of Weston. He's going to get that inside line. Weston's going to fight here. Nope, Tudorson's going to go through. So great fight from him.
Yeah, good move from Tudorson. Now up into P7. Webb, I think, will be the last car that he'll go by before this race is over. You can see the gap between Boost and Webb is just far too big, and there's not a lot of time left in the race. 4 laps to go here at Willow Springs, the Radical SR8 Championship Round 2 of the season. Just to remind you that the first round of Spa wasn't held, well, it was held, but wasn't broadcast due to technical reasons, but that is due to be uploaded later in the week, hopefully. So by the time that is done, we'll be pretty much up to date and good to go for Brands Hatch this time next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Got one, love the technical issues and PC problems. Big shout out to Simon Edwards, who was helping me out, and a couple of others who gave me some advice in chat as well. So big thank you to them. Otherwise, my PC would probably still be breaking. So much love to them as well. But Stefan Mellis just lost the place to Rosberg. Rosberg's going after Weston.
Yeah, and Tudorson's going after Webb. So it's just as close between the Orange Army racing car and the Retro Williams livery car. And it's Weston ahead of Rosberg. I think Weston's livery reminds me a little bit of Cadillac's F1 livery, which was, ironically enough, released during the Super Bowl during the halftime show the other night.
Yeah, I haven't watched it.
Have you seen the livery though?
No.
Okay, well, I'll leave that for you to have a look at in your own time. Tudorson right behind Webb for position in the battle for 6th place.
Yeah, I'll have a Google and find it. See what it's about. Hutchinson and Veazey now battling it out as well as they're going to go into... Oh, this might... No, it's going to be...
Is Veazey going past Hutchinson?
Yeah,
is Veazey going past... Yeah, go on.
It's Veazey going past Hutchinson, but the last lap is... it's going to be one and one more.
Yep, 2 more laps of this race, so there's time for Hutchinson and Veazey to continue to do that battle wheel to wheel, going towards Castrol Corner. Hutchinson to the outside, which will give him the inside for Rabbits. Here they collide. They did touch. They touched, the pair of them, and that is, well, that was very marginal between Veazey and Hutchinson coming out of Castrol. And Pullman isn't too far back from these. Well, all of this is helping Luke Maxwell to pull further and further away.
Yeah, he has Maxwell 3.4 seconds out in front. But it's like anything when you're fighting. That's the deal that you got to contend with. The guy out in front's going to escape, and that's what he's done. As Veazey and McHutchison still have a good old scrap. So, there's still battles that commencing. Rosberg, Weston, and Mellis also still fighting it out further down, as these guys are going to be starting the final lap very shortly.
And that's because Tudorson made a mistake somewhere, hence why he's down in 10th position. He was in P7. He's lost 3 positions as Tudorson was. We've been watching this battle between Hutchinson and Veazey, and Luke Maxwell is coming round to start what will be his 16th and final lap of the race.
Yeah, and he's done a great job as well, out in front by 3.5 seconds. So fair play to Luke Maxwell. But it's going to be here. This fight's going to commence. So let's look forward to seeing how they get on and whether or not Veazey or McHutchison's going to come out on top. At the moment, it's one apiece. McHutchison got race 1, Veazey got race 2.
It could be 1-1-1 apiece with Luke Maxwell running in the lead. Well, we don't know at this time. At the time of recording, we don't know exactly what happened in race 1. But for now, at least, it'll be Luke Maxwell picking up at least 1 victory to open his Season 7 account. But will Veazey get by Hutchinson for 2nd position? It was battling for the lead in the first 2 races. This time it's a battle for 2nd place between John Hutchinson and Jack Veazey. It's Scotland versus England as well, so there is pride at stake. And Luke Maxwell further on up front is on his way to victory here at Willow Springs. Is Veazey going to launch one final attack at the last corner? He'll want to try and even get a drag race to line if he can help it. He'll want a good exit coming out of the last corner here. But Luke Maxwell is going to make it another win in his Radical SR8 Championship career, taking the checker flag. Hutchinson holds off Veazey for 2nd place. And it's Gert-Jan Polman with a brilliant effort to 4th place, holding off Mike Bousson to the end. And Steve Webb has got Taras Vosberg on his tail, but he's going to run out of time to need to do anything about Vosberg. Webb 6th, Vosberg 7th ahead of Weston, Mellis, and Menedigoff has got by Luke Tunison on the final lap.
Yeah, Judason's well, but that's very unusual. Both.
Well, they both got.
They're
Yeah,
both.
both of them got no bonnets.
Yeah, so I wonder where that. Oh, Luke, behave yourself. He's still got it here. Oh.
Ooh. So that was why Tunison lost the positions.
Yeah.
That's over at Rabbit's ear.
Yeah, lost his front end on that as well. Graham Matthews still to come over the line that we're waiting for.
Did Steve Webb move across in the braking zone, James? Because it looked almost like he moved and then moved again. I'd be interested to see just from the onboard view of Luke Tunison as to does he move across? Ooh, I think he does, you know, James.
I think that's a hard one, the way that corner goes, dude. I think it's a really difficult one to pick out. I wouldn't want to be sitting there picking it out, I've got to be honest on that one. But those stewards, doesn't make a difference. You message the guy and you go, hey, and then you ever talk about it.
Well, at the end of race 3, it was Luke Maxwell who came out on top, had John Hudson and Jack Veazey. Gert-Jan Polman with a brilliant 4th place finish. He'll be very, very pleased with that. Mike Boost on 5th, had Steve Webb. Taras Vosberg and Tom Weston in 7th and 8th. Stefan Millis and Menedigoff ran out the top 10. And it's Luke Tunison in a disappointing P11 ahead of Gareth Newton and Matthew Richardson, who only made it as high as 13th. Graham Matthews 14th, and it's Scott Kostrich, who did retire for a little bit, but did rejoin the race not too long after, getting a little bit more mileage under his belt before Brands Hatch next week.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a couple of people waiting for having a chat. One of them is Mr. Jack Veazey. So let's start off with Jack up in the booth for you, Tom.
Excellent. Jack, race 2 win earlier. 2nd place finish in the first race and 3rd here in race number 3. 3 top 3 finishes tonight.
Yeah, it's been a really good evening. Yeah, 3 podiums, like you say. So good points. Just need to keep up this form. And, you know, I was a bit fortunate with spins ahead today and not to get collected and stuff like that. But, yeah, all in all, pretty good night.
Now, for your information, me and James don't know anything about round 1 of Spa, so no spoilers, please. But how have you found tonight's showing and what you're looking out for this season?
Yeah, there was more action than I was expecting. So you can race around here. I thought maybe it'd be a slipstream train sort of race, but there was plenty of action. And yeah, this is one of those tracks where it's near enough impossible to break away from the car behind if they're on the same sort of pace as you because of the slipstream. But yeah, it was good.
Have you noticed as well there was a slight reduction in the time for race number 3? Was it a thing with the fuel? Was it like there's like a maximum fuel tank for these cars?
Yeah, I noticed it was 18 minutes instead of 20. I don't know why it's changed. John will probably be able to say. But yeah, maybe it's down to fuel or something. Not sure.
Quite possibly. We've got Brands next week. How are you feeling for that one? Surely it must be a circuit you are confident for.
Yeah, I like Brands Hatch. It's a really fun track. In these cars, it could be difficult to get moves done. Maybe down what's that long back straight? Maybe that's where the overtakes will happen.
Is it Pilgrim's Drop?
Yeah, the one that goes towards the back of the circuit. I think that's where any action will happen. Other than that, it's going to be probably mainly single file because of the nature of the track.
Okay. Is there anyone on the shout to, Jack, before we let you go?
Yeah, just shout out to you guys for the commentary, like usual. Looking forward to watching this one back, and shout out to my friends and family who are watching as well.
Thanks. Thank you very much. Jack, well done. A victory for you this evening, as well as a 2nd and a 3rd, and the best of luck to you at Brands in 7 days' time.
Cheers, guys. Thanks.
That was Jack Veazey coming out on top. Show over the way with Gert-Jan Polman, James, because he drove brilliant in that 3rd and final race tonight. Gert, good evening. No spoilers, please, for the first round of last week at Spa, but just this round tonight alone, how do you think it went for you? Because that first race, I think you jumped the start, didn't you? Which saw you at the back, but the 3rd and final race was the highlight of your night.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, it was a splendid race. Yeah, I jumped the start and I just moved an inch or something, and then immediately you will get a black flag, and then I spun as well. So I thought, oh no, this is the evening to forget. But and I actually had a meeting before this, and I left early to be able to join the race. So thought, well, that wasn't necessary, but I think I made up for it in race 2 and 3.
And in terms of the rounds we've got this season, I mean, we've got Brands as well next. I'm sure that's one that you are particularly familiar with. In terms of, are you happy? The Ams and the Pros haven't been decided yet, but which class would you be most comfortable being in for this season?
Well, I think this is my 4th season in the Radicals, and I think last season I was second. The season before I was second, so I was hoping to have a shot at becoming champion this year. So I would like to beat Stefan or Menno in the AMs. But that will be my preference.
Yeah. How have you found the challenge of Willow Springs this evening? Because it felt like it was a really, really flowing circuit. It's just like if you get one thing wrong, it's just like your race just goes up in smoke for you. But I think the drivers have sort of coped with the nature of this circuit, given the undulation involved.
Yeah, it's a great track, and it's a track with well, as you said, it has great flow. So if you have a good rhythm and you know what to do in what corner, so it's easy not to make a big mistake. But it is easy to make a small mistake, and that will cost you a lot of time. So I was actually surprised to be able to keep up quite well with Luke and John and Jack in the 3rd race, which was nice. But about the tracks, there's a lot of new tracks for me this season. So I just bought a few of them. This one as well, also Brands Hatch, Detroit, some more. So it's a really challenging season.
I'd imagine so as well, but I'm sure you're enjoying it anyhow. Anyone you want to shout out to go before we let you go?
Well, that's a good one. I think just so all the drivers, because the standards are really high. It's good driving. This track as well. You drive alongside corner after corner, and it just works. It's really nice. So yeah, all the drivers really.
Excellent. We'll get a 4th place finish in that final race of tonight. You'll find out soon enough whether we'll be in the pros or in the AMs again. We'll find
Yeah.
out soon enough in 7 days' time at Brands. Thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thanks a lot, guys.
That was Gert-Jan Polman coming home in 4th position in that 3rd and final race after a challenging beginning. But now we speak to the man who came out on top in race number 1. That is John Hutchison. Now, without any spoilers, please, of the first round, because me and James are still yet to upload the video of that round. How was tonight for you, John, at Willow Springs?
Good, brilliant. Really enjoyed that tonight. Great racing. Wheel to wheel, door to door, bumper to bumper for first 2 races anyway. Great stuff.
Particularly with the battle with Jet Veazey towards the end, because it was basically wheel to wheel, maybe a little bit too much. I wonder how many tyre kisses there were on the side of your vehicle at the end.
There was a couple of scrapes, I think, but that's racing. You know, they'll saying trading paints, rubbing is racing.
Absolutely so. And this season, I was thinking about whether you were going to retain it this time around, because if you remember season 4, you totally dominated it. Season 5 wasn't exactly your season. Season 6 was definitely your season, although the field was still rather close. Do you think the field is as close this season?
I think between myself, Jack, Luke, Mikey, and Matthew, if Matthew Richardson's really fast, it just makes a mistake every now and then, but he's got the pace to win races and to put yourself in the mix. So I think 4 or 5 of us got a good chance of winning it this season.
And we've got Brands next week. I'm sure you've driven that track many times in the past, but how are you feeling for it?
Good. Really like Brands. It's just a kind of a flat out throw into the corners, my kind of circuit. So looking forward to that. Difficult again to pass, but you can force errors and get the passes done. I
asked Jack about the decrease of the duration for the 3rd and final race. Is that a fuel thing?
No, it's an admin thing. I'm just fixing it just now. It wasn't meant to be 18 minutes, but good job it was, because 20 minutes we might have struggled on fuel tonight. So I've just fixed it all just now.
Okay. Anyone to shout to, John, before we let you go?
A shout out to James. He's awfully quiet tonight. What's wrong with him?
Nothing. I'm
He's just-
I'm just sat here listening to you, dear sir. I'm listening to the sultry tones of your Scottish voice. Of course I am. I didn't want to rib you about the fact that you messed up the session. So yeah, I'm just sat here quietly, dude.
Yeah, he's got a wee runny nose. He's no feeling well.
Listen, I'm shattered. Do one. Politely.
Yeah.
Oh, dearie me. Anyway, dear sir, anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
That's the usual mob, you lot and all the guys in the racing. Keep it simple.
All right, man.
Wonderful. John, thank you very much for speaking to us, and best of luck over at Brands in 7 days' time.
Thanks, Tom.
That was John Hudson coming away with the race 1 victory, and we'll speak to one final man who came away with the race 3 victory. That is Luke Maxwell. Now, I've said it to the other 3. Please, no spoilers of Spa last week, because that race or round is still yet to be uploaded. How was Willow Springs for you tonight, Luke?
Much better than last week at Spa, but I won't mention that.
Okay.
It's cracking. Yeah, really good fun. Really good circuit to race at. Quite unique in that there's not really a lot of references. So getting your turn-ins right. Obviously, I messed up in race 2, went a bit wide, and as soon as you hit your tyres on the dirt, that's it. You're out wide, and if you do that early on, the whole field sort of passes you. So, but no, good fun. I was glad to get a bit of a lead in the last race and just hold it. I could see obviously Jack and John, they had good pace tonight. So it's just a case of can I hold that gap and not let them in the tow, really.
I think a lot of drivers had a lot of good pace. We saw Minna de Graaf, believe it or not, setting some good pace at some point. And then Luke Chinison, a couple of laps in a row, was setting fast laps as he was chasing the field down. It felt to me like pace-wise, a lot of the drivers had it, but it just came down to driver errors, really, especially when you've only got 15 or so minutes just to make up all the ground, and that you've not got a lot of time to just chase down people.
Yeah, I think when I dropped off in race 2, and I got past a few people, and I was about 5 seconds back, but I couldn't get anywhere. You know, that 5 second gap, and I was amazed that when the crew chief said, you know, Jack's won the race, or John run, I think it was Jack when it ran race 2. I thought, well, I'm only coming into the last turn, so even after all that, they're not that far ahead, but it was far enough that there was no, you know, enough draft as well. I think that helps everybody round. So yeah, it was good. Good, something different, isn't it? So yeah, was it all right for the broadcast?
It wasn't too bad, yeah. It was good actually. It was a nice flowing circuit with some funny names of this racetrack, particularly Rabbit's Ear, which I think on the slow mo of what we're seeing on stream is about what where you're going through at the moment. So, but we've got more familiar territory of this championship racing in 7 days' time. Brands Hatch.
Yep, that's a good one. I was just talking to on that one. It's yeah, it's quite tight for overtaking, but it's a great flowing circuit. So I think it'll be yeah, another crack. I think the schedule this season I think looks amazing. The only one I can't make is Mosport, but kindly John shifted it so I could do Mugello the week afterwards, which I'm looking forward to.
That's
That
team
is,
privileges, that is, Luke. That's backhanded tactics.
Teammate privileges, yeah.
Yeah, that's how
Is
it
that
works,
one of
is it?
Is that one of the benefits of being part of Team Redline?
No, I think it's there's a lot of debate that goes on around sorting out the schedule, and it was a little bit of a do us a favour. Because it was me who suggested Mugello, so it would have been a shame if I couldn't race it.
Right, you wait till I get hold of that Mr. Scotsman. Where's he gone?
Well, he's gone to do well, whatever.
He's got to sort out the fact he's got to set up a session correctly. That would be ideal.
No, that's quite true, actually.
Want to get James a new microphone, hasn't he?
Oi, what's wrong with my microphone? Don't you?
You're very quiet, very faint.
Oh, I hope not.
I've just turned you up a tiny bit. I can hear you just about. Yep.
Oh, okay, mate. The problem is Windows keeps messing with my mic settings. So if I turn it up too loud, I end up with a load of static on it. It's driving me bonkers at the moment.
I'll go have a listen back on the broadcast.
All right, mate. Let me know if I'm quiet or not.
Okay. Anyone on the shout out to Luke before we let you go?
I'll give a shout out to Jack and John. They had some cracking racing tonight. I think side by side for all 3 races pretty much. So fair play to those guys for tonight. Yeah.
Luke, nice of you to speak to us. Thank you so much, and well done on picking up your win in that last race of tonight, and best of luck over at Brands.
Cheers, guys. Have a
Take
good
care,
one.
man.
Bye.
That was Luke Maxwell coming out on top in the third and final race. Jack Veazey in race number 2, and John Hudson was able to kick things off with taking victory in race number 1. JP, Willow Springs. Next season on the calendar, maybe?
Hopefully. Yeah, I'll just put the calendar up on the screen. You can see we're off to Brands next week. Then it's Summit Point. Rebel Ring will be the 60-minute endurance. I ain't doing 60 hours. Not a joke. 60-minute endurance race with fuel stops. Then we're off to Belle Isle. Mossport, another good one as well. Very much like Willow Springs. Magello, then the Hockenheim Ring. And then, as per normal, we finish at our, how can I put it, traditional ending here at Monza Historic. So, yeah, really looking forward to this calendar. Going to be an awesome one.
I think me walking 14 miles in the Marston Moor estate is just about as challenging as doing 60 hours of Red Bull Ring. That's the way I would do it.
Yeah,
that's the way I would put it.
I'm not doing that, dude. I'm not doing 60 hours. Forget that. Not happening.
In case you wonder why I mentioned the 14-mile... I think I said 14-mile wall, didn't I? Because that's what I did at the weekend when I went out with a walking club. Anyway, that wraps up the evening. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed it that much, do make sure you like and subscribe. And that way you won't miss a thing, including this particular series. And we'll do it all over again at Brands Hatch. Will either Luke Maxwell, Jack Veazey and John Hudson, all of which that came out on top of tonight, continue their fine form? You know where to look. I am Tom Cairns with James Parfitt. And we'll speak to you again soon when the Radical SR8 Championship returns.